You ever lose $2 and feel annoyed for the next hour? Not because you're broke, but because you missed a deal. Meanwhile, the real financial disaster is sitting quietly in your driveway, and you don't even feel it. That contradiction is destroying your money, and you don't know it yet. Let me paint a scene. You're at the grocery store. The total flashes on the screen, $147.83. You tap your card, you walk out, then it hits you. You forgot to scan the loyalty app, you just missed $2.14 in savings, and suddenly, that tiny mistake won't leave your head. It follows you home. It nags you while unloading groceries. It whispers while you put food away. You feel irresponsible, like you failed. But here's the part that should scare you. Parked outside is a car with a $680 monthly payment you're barely surviving. Behind you is a house stretching your budget so tight that one emergency equals panic. Yet your brain is obsessed over $2. That's not being careful with money. That's a psychological trap, and it's one of the biggest reasons people stay broke. This isn't about cutting expenses. This isn't about skipping coffee. This is about the mental operating system running your financial life. Because here's a truth most finance advice avoids. Being cheap is emotional. Building wealth is strategic. Until you understand the difference, nothing else works. The illusion of smart saving. Let me show you how cheap thinking disguises itself as responsibility. You're driving. You pass two gas stations. Station A, $3.89 per gallon. Station B, $3.79 per gallon. But it's 15 minutes away. You think, I'll save money. Sounds smart, feels smart, but let's actually run the numbers, because this is where cheap thinking collapses. Your tank holds 15 gallons. Savings per gallon, 10 cents. Total savings, $1.50. Now the hidden costs. You drove 30 minutes round trip. You burned about 1 gallon of gas doing it. That gallon cost you $3.79. So you spent $3.79 to save $1.50. You didn't save money. You paid $2.29 to feel clever. And we're not done. What's your time worth? Let's say $25 per hour. That half-hour trip cost you $12.50 in time. So your smart decision actually cost $3.79 in fuel, $12.50 in time. Total cost, $16.29 for a $1.50 illusion of savings. And you felt proud the whole way home. That's the danger. The question that keeps you poor. Cheap thinking asks only one question. How much is leaving my account right now? Every dollar spent feels like failure. Wealthy thinking asks a different question. What do I get in return? Money stops being something to protect and becomes something to deploy. Same dollar, different mindset, wildly different outcomes. Why the coffee argument is a distraction. Let's talk about the most overused advice in personal finance. Just stop buying coffee. Yes, if you spend $5 a day, that's about $1,800 a year. Is that helpful? Sure. Is that life-changing? No. What is life-changing? The $47,000 SUV depreciating outside, the $680 monthly payment suffocating your cash flow, the house payment that's $400 too high every month. Yet somehow, people obsess over coffee while bleeding thousands silently. That's cheap mentality. Fighting ants while ignoring the hole in the wall, the hidden cost nobody talks about. Here's what really drains you. Decision fatigue. Every time you stand in an aisle comparing prices to save 40 cents, every time you drive farther for a slightly cheaper option, every time you debate generic versus name brand, you're burning mental energy. Your brain has limited bandwidth. So by the time real decisions show up, negotiating salary, starting a side income, learning a high-value skill, you're mentally exhausted. You spent your intelligence saving pennies. Here's a rule wealthy people live by. If it's under $20 and you have savings, buy what you want and move on. Save your brain power for 5-figure decisions. That's where lives change. The real enemy, scarcity. Thinking cheap behavior isn't about money. It's about fear. Fear that there won't be enough. Fear that spending now means suffering later. Fear rooted in past survival. And that fear creates a brutal paradox. You avoid spending money to stay safe. And that very avoidance guarantees you stay stuck. You won't invest $1,000 in a skill that could add $15,000 to your income. Because what if something happens? So nothing changes. Meanwhile, someone else plants that same $1,000 and watches it grow. Not reckless, calculated. The most expensive way to be cheap. Refusing to invest in yourself. Skipping courses. Avoiding certifications. Ignoring health. Buying tools that slow you down. Saving money today and paying for it for years. Cheap thinking looks affordable. Strategic thinking looks expensive until you zoom out. The framework that changes everything before any purchase asks, will this save me time? Will this increase my earning ability? Will this prevent a bigger cost later? If the answer is yes, that's not spending. That's leverage. The identity shift, here's the deepest layer. Language. Cheap thinking says, I can't afford that. Strategic thinking says, I'm choosing to prioritize something else. Same decision, different identity. Your brain believes the story you tell it. Speak like someone managing resources, not someone surviving expenses. Final truth, you cannot cut your way to wealth. There's a floor to expenses, but income has no ceiling. Wealth isn't built by shrinking your life, it's built by expanding your capacity. Stop playing defense with pennies. Start playing offense with strategy. That's the real difference between being cheap and becoming wealthy.